Hey everyone, how you doing today? I'm Lawrence Hicks, and this is my step-by-step story of how I sued the credit bureaus and won without having to go to court or using any laws. A lot of people have had success from just listening to my story, so I hope you have the same success. I know you're wondering, is this video worth your time? I definitely think so. I got a lot of information, a lot of experiences from myself and other people to share with you, so stay tuned. I definitely think it's worth your time. Here are some other stories. We got Reggie right here. All he did was bought the book, applied the story, and he actually did it for a client. Now, all I did was told my story. How people choose to mix it or remix it, is definitely a benefit to them if it works for them, though. So take Reggie right here. He bought the book, listened to the story, and then now he's doing it for a client. And then he's saying that he got 3,000 from Experian and 2,000 from TransUnion. So now that's $5,000 he getting from a client, and they're splitting the money. So now, just listening to my story, Reggie has been able to create a revenue stream for himself. And if you look at it, it's pretty substantial. A lot of people work 40 hours in a week or in a whole month and don't make 2 and 3 grand sometimes. I've heard of that, definitely. And then we have another one over here. Experian is settling. They're sending you the confirmation in the email that they're willing to settle. So this is another success story where they're just basically just showing you the layout, the blueprint of how their interaction with the credit bureau is, and just giving you proof. How do I know you can do this? Because I was able to do it. It's nothing different than me and you. We're both individuals, and if we determine, we can make it happen. A little bit about me. I'm Lawrence Hicks, the founder of AAIT Enterprises. I'm an author, I'm a mentor, and of course, a financial literacy coach. And I'm from Pontiac, Michigan originally, currently down here in Huntsville, Alabama. I grew up in Pontiac till about, 2008. I got a basketball scholarship to Oakland City University from actually just applying this same type of, I guess, determination. Grew up poor in projects. Child Protective Services took us from the house at 11. We moved to the projects with my mom. Things got a little more interesting, I'll say. And then it's just basically just seeing you thought you were living bad, but then you get to see what living worse is. So poverty then, but to back up a little bit more, we were actually homeless at 6, standing at the bottom of a shelter. So I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to not have lights. I know what it's like to not have water. I know what it's like to not have heat. I know what it's like to be on WIC. So just, these other things we hear about, we haven't experienced them, about what poverty feels like. So I know what it feels like. And now I've risen to a point to where that's just a thing of the past. So determination, I definitely believe, has gotten me to this point, though. And after college, or high school, I got in trouble a few times. I actually got my first felony when I was 17. I was locked up, did 6 months on probation violation. And I actually wasn't involved. I was just there. And then I actually got another felony down here in Alabama a couple years ago while I was in grad school, or not a couple years ago. This was 2014, I guess you could say, and still just doing the wrong thing. And so with 2 felonies up to this point, I've still been able to be successful to a degree, I guess you could say, above the average. So yeah, just don't think you're no different than me. I've been down through there, I guess you could say, with the record, and now I attained my realtor's license. I own a real estate company here, I own a car dealership company here. Of course, I have this financial literacy, the book that I wrote, just telling my story. That's helped a lot of people. And then just mentoring people, and then just the mindset first to get out of your situation, and then the financial literacy, because information is key. And if we're not acting off the right information, then sometimes that's really just the downfall. So I continue to build. I actually got down here in Alabama, getting my master's degree at Alabama A&M in business administration and concentration in logistics. I graduated in 2015. But what was unique about that, I thought I was going to school to learn how to open a business. Once I found out they weren't going to teach me how to open a business, but to work for other businesses, that's when I took it upon me, the challenge, to say, all right, you still got to go. Let's figure this out. So that's what I did. I continued grad school, continue to grow, continue to build. And that one, open a business, is what opened my eyes to credit. So man, you listen to all the things you've heard, but then I like to be like a scientist. So I went out and I say, all right, who are in positions that I aspire to be in? So you start from the top, the richest people, your Warren Buffett's, your Bill Gates, your Elon Musk now, then he wasn't, I guess, your Jeff Bezos, just your top people, your George Soros, all these people that you hear are just the richest. And your Mark Cubans, you try to come up with a common theme. And one of the things I seen was credit, the stock market, and then I guess you could say real estate or technology. And then we think about a lot of entrepreneurs from the ground up that I've studied. Credit is usually a big thing. So I say, all right, let's start there. Let's start with the credit. Learned a lot with credit. YouTube was my foundation, and Google. Anything I didn't understand someone saying on YouTube, I would just Google the definition to try to get a better understanding. So I would pause the video, go look up what I didn't understand, get that understanding, and then now go restart the video. So YouTube really gave me a huge foundation of just trying to dissect things and understand it. And then once I did all that dissecting, it was time to implement. So understood, just researching, taking in information. No longer listen to the radio in the car, on the way to school, everywhere. I'm going somewhere in the car, just taking in information while I'm trimming my beard in the morning, taking a shower in the morning, brushing my teeth in the morning, listening to information. So the more you take in information, then now it's time to take action. So I started taking action. I started seeing it was working for me. So I built it up from personal credit, opening a car dealership. I was taking personal liability, getting credit. And then as I continued to evolve and educate myself, I figured out about business credit. So I learned that whole process, started getting business credit, started getting access to more funding. And then I could start doing more things because it's really just about an idea and access to capital. So once I can bridge that gap, then things started rolling for me. So continue to progress to get to this point to where I can operate and flourish from many different streams of income and never have to worry about how will I create it. But the first thing started with credit. And back to what we're doing now, the inaccuracies. How about the credit bureaus are just totally violating you and just making it seem like the inaccuracies that you're disputing and your process is just obsolete. So we go through that process and really just try to get an understanding. And then it seems like a lot of people run into that hurdle where there seems dark at the end of the tunnel, there's no light. So me telling my story has been light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of people. And it's also created another revenue stream that's more prominent than actually going to work for someone. Just a simple process and understanding. So I definitely want to reveal that to you. Say, I guess if you could achieve your financial goals, some questions may be, can you sue the credit bureaus? How can you contact the credit bureaus? And can you charge $500 for this service? When I say this service, just like Reggie did, all he did was listen to my story and he turned around and was able to turn it into a service. So I think that's huge though. And then that just speaks to the mind, how creative we can be. We always think things have to be in a certain place and we go and do that and do like regular, but it's, man, if I'm able to get results and results to this level, and then we know the credit bureaus are wronging you. So it's like, where's the other side of that? Compensation. So now if we can be compensated, your time has now value and there's a dollar amount attached to it. And now you're weighing everyone else's time. Now we have something. So yes, you can sue the credit bureaus. Of course you can. You can sue anyone who's violating you, and contact them is an easy thing. You either can put in a phone call or we do by mail. Mailing with certified mailing is definitely recommended because you have a paper trail. It's not he say, she say. And of course you can charge for this service. You got an example of what Reggie did for his client. So now it's just about you understanding and putting yourself in position. Great, because that's what I'm going to share with you. Nothing held back. I'm going to give you everything. So basically, the first part of this suing is my goals for this webinar. I want to show you how to take the fear away from receiving lawsuit letters from credit agencies. I also want to show you I also want to show you how I sued the credit bureaus. And I also want to give you an example of how you could generate 6 figures consistently from just selling this service. I know it sounds crazy, but here we go. Equifax right here letting you know 16 medical collections removed. Like, I can imagine how frustrating this was trying to get this dealt with. And it comes to the point to where you just have to sue them. And I know when people hear suing, they're like, whoa, a lawyer, money, time, all this. No, that's the beauty. Let me be the light at the end of the tunnel to simplify the process for you. So all those worries are out the window. You actually have a step-by-step guide to execute in minimal time with minimal money. And then we have another one right here from Keelan. Keelan is another one I remember. He was in the group. We have a group where it's academy where these students learn about how to build credit, how to dispute credit and everything. But the first part is we need to have the inaccuracies or delinquencies that are not yours off your credit report, because if someone's pulling your credit report and they're seeing these things, they're now judging you and saying, this is you and your character. So I like Keelan again, credit repair company. He was trying to help his clients, looking for other ways. He was running into hurdles with accounts that he couldn't get removed. The credit bureaus just denying disputes, just coming with all these different crazy metrics that they come with, just stall tactics, what we call them. And so he finally got fed up, contacted Bobby is in the group that he was in. And he said, oh, I know someone that had a story about this. He also has a book. So he contacted me, got the book, and just from learning from the book, from the story, now he is offering this service to a client and getting results that he couldn't get at first. Saying, if you stay to the end, you're gonna get a free bonus. I will give you the debt validation letter, and that's what it's called, what we use when you collection agencies or someone is saying you owe them a debt and they're trying to sue you. They first have to validate the debt, and that's a very powerful thing. So, part one, we'll talk about the lawsuit letters, what to do with them, not to be scared when you're getting sued from someone that you may even never have a conversation with before, and you just get a letter talking about you being sued. Part two, we're going to talk about how I sued the credit bureaus. And three, how Keelan and Reggie were able to use this service to charge customers and can scale it from a six-figure business to as high as you want it to go, because it's just about a numbers game. If he got $3,000 from one bureau, $2,000 from another bureau, that's $5,000. Let's say you split that with the client 50-50. That's $2,500. Let's say you have two clients a week. Now we're talking about $5,000 a week, $20,000 a month. And now we're talking about 240 grand a year from just two clients a week. And all we talking about is two bureaus. We haven't even talked about a third bureau if that happens. And we're just talking about the settlement splitting, not even if you choose to charge them for this service, to walk them through this simple process from just listening to a story. The lawsuit letters from credit agencies. Basically, the main thing is a lot of people aren't aware that there's processes in law to where someone just can't contact you and accuse you of something. So the process that they have to execute is you actually saying, yes, this is such and such. Yes, I owe the debt. Yes, this is my information. I verify with you. Absent of that process of them making a connection with you and you agreeing and saying, yes, my debt, nothing can really take place. So they sometimes will say they sent you letters. They'll say they called you and do all these things. Then they continue with just going on with the process like it can just go that way. But if you don't know that you have rights to where there has to be clear confirmation that they spoke with you and you agreed to it and you verified your information, if they don't have that, then they cannot pursue it. But if you don't know that they can't pursue without having that, then you think now you have to talk to them when they're after the fact. They didn't have the foundation to make sure that they've contacted you and you verified your information that this was actually your debt, and now they're trying to come after you for it. But now what you do is you slow it down, you go backwards, and you just basically, hey, look, validate this debt. And in the letter, it details what specific things that they have to provide to validate the debt. 9.9 times out of 10, they don't have those things, so they just go away and would rather not bother you because they say, hey, you know what? This person has some intelligence, they have some intel, and they're using it to their advantage, so I can't just prey on them, because that's usually what it is. They're just preying on people who they don't think are knowledgeable. And how I sued the credit bureaus, same situation. Struggling. I was a victim of identity theft, actually. And I'm trying to tell these companies, hey, look, I know it wasn't me. I know my information was shared out there from multiple of these breaches, and I've been notified of it. So when I check my credit and I see these items that are not mine, and then I'm making you aware that it's not mine, and then you're saying verify, I'm like, how can you verify something when I know I didn't do it? I know it's not mine. So I don't even understand how this is going, but you keep saying verified. I know I'm trying to move forward in my life to be able to get funding, to be able to get my credit right, but this is slowing me down. And then the time frame. I was on the phone with the credit bureaus. This was like a job for 2 years straight. I was in grad school. We had classes at 4 o'clock, and 4 o'clock Central Time is 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So I would actually get up at 8 o'clock here Central Time, and from 8 to 4, right before class, even riding in the car all the way up to going to the class door, I am on the phone back and forth with these credit bureaus, with these companies trying to get this resolved. Could not get resolved, but I learned a lot. We doing research. It's like, hey, they know they're wrong, and then it's actually cheaper for them to just remove the item and settle out with you than paying for lawyers to go to court and continue to fight you for it. So then I find out that they have an e-Oscar system that they like to upload documents to, because they figure it's too many documents, too many people sending disputes for a person to read them and respond to all of them. So they found a better way for them, not for you, to process documents when they're just going into a computer. No one is actually reading them or understanding. So the suing part brings them to the forefront to where you can go eye to eye or talk to someone, not eye to eye, because you will be sending in your dispute. And then once you file a suit, then they'll be contacting you. And that's one of the things I teach, what to do in that process before court even come, and how they're willing to settle with you. So once I'm aware of all these things, that it can work in my advantage as long as I pursue certain things. And the pursuit is the lawsuit, letting them know, hey, look, I know I have rights, and I also know what to do. And I also know you're violating my rights by not really processing my disputes as you should. So now I'll say, all right, let's bring someone to the table to have a conversation about it. Once we have them at the table to have a conversation about it, all the other process for speed and efficiency that they have in place for them, we negate those and have a conversation. They say, oh yeah, I can see. You know what? Let us go ahead and handle this. And then this could be easier for both of us. We can just settle out and handle this. So it's just understanding that they don't really want to go to court and spend the money and the time and energy to have to fight you, when basically you standing on a legitimate case. So in my case, it was identity theft. In other cases, I've seen where people are they're just violating them. They're not responding to their disputes. They're just going over their head, basically, though. They're uploading in the system. I had a scenario, someone that told me that they couldn't get access to their credit report for 2 years, and nothing they would do could get them access to their credit report. So he read the story, sued them, got someone to talk to him directly, and he was able to get access to his credit report. And then once he got access to the credit report, he's seen someone had been using his information to get certain items. So now, since he had them already on the phone with this suit process, he could now get that rectified immediately without having to go through a suit process, a dispute process, sending in letters in the mail and having to wait, because time is our most valuable resource. Let me tell it, the more time we have to wait, that's what's taken from us. So he was able to elapse that time because he had someone on the phone, got the negative items removed that were not his, and then got access to his credit report all through the suit process. So that's what just opened the door to be able to get a direct conversation beyond their process that they have that isn't so direct, and it's kind of like hit or miss. And then, like Reggie, like Keelan, and we have other credit repair companies that have listened to the story, applied it to their clients, and even if they had a situation themselves, they applied to their clients, because the Keelan, like you say, he didn't have an issue with himself. He was running a credit repair business, and he had clients that he were already charging to get their credit repaired, but it was certain things he could not get it removed. So it's like, man, how do I get these other items removed? There must be something I can do. He heard about my story, purchased the book, and he applied the information to his clients, and now he's charging them or able to charge them whatever he likes, but we'll just go with a minimum. If I'm charging you $500 for this service, and then we're going to work out a percentage to where we split what settlement we have, we're talking about thousands of dollars, hundreds and thousands of dollars that's been generated in a small time. And it's just by how many customers I can help and how I'm marketing myself. So if we take these things in account, we say, man, here's an opportunity from something by just helping other people with the same issue that I had. The opportunity is there. And really, if you scale it to as far as you want to, this can be a 7-figure service. It don't have to be 6 figures. You maybe can stop at 6 figures. Like with the example I gave earlier, just 2 clients a week, you can make you close to $250,000 and put yourself in the top 5% of the population just by income, just by listening to a story and applying and trying to help other people. This is amazing. It's beautiful. And to take it a step further, do you know that people go to college, spend 40 grand a year? No, I take it back. They're not going to Princeton or Harvard. They may spend 10 or 15 grand a year on college degree. So if we talking about just a basic bachelor's, $10,000 a year, that's 40 grand you're going to spend in 4 years. And it's not guaranteed you're going to get a job for 40 grand a year. Let's just say they get a job making 60, 70 grand a year. They spent 40 grand in 4 years of their life to make 70 grand. We're talking about reading a book, understanding the process, applying it, in a matter of months, you're able to make 4 times that amount in less than 4 years. Let's just say 4 months. What would you choose? Do you want to do this now? Well, I don't see what could you wait on. It's worth a try. It's worth you see people have been able to do this for themselves. I don't see what's different in you. It just takes some effort. It just takes some discipline. It just takes somebody that says, you know what, I want this and I see the opportunity. So next 30 days, we can get started right now. This comes down to the execution and the determination you got, because once you understand, it's just about the application and waiting on your results. So it don't have to be 30 days. It can be day 1. You're in control of that. So there's 2 different ways that people usually go about things in my experience. You can either do this on your own and just try things and just figure out what works. And that helps people. But remember, our most valuable resource is time. So we don't always want to have time on the table to just give when we can elapse the time and learn step by step from someone. So we could spend a lot of time trying to get it. And then it's things we may not get or not even know we don't have, and have maybe some success if we even have any success. Or you can come to the promised land with me. You can let me offer you any coaching and assistance by just my experience, or you can just try to figure it out yourself. But I like the option to just skip the wasted time. Why waste time? When we now understand I could spend the time doing it, mess up and may not get it and be frustrated, or I could spend the time learning from someone who can actually walk me through the process, help me with hurdles, and save a lot more time and frustration. I think the choice is yours. And I also have a course. The mindset and the training, all these other things, like I told you, that got me to this point in life, I want to offer to you as well. So after you've run into the hurdle, you see there's no light at the end of the tunnel, you see my story, now you have light at the end of the tunnel, now the light bulb is back bright again. All these other ideas that you had in life to be successful, to be an entrepreneur, to get to wherever you want in life, I want to provide those things with all the things that I've done for myself to get to this point in life. I want to be able to offer them to you. So here are some of the things that are in my course that I'm offering. The course, basically, we go over the mindset, how to open and run a credit repair business credit, how we do that, how we use that to our advantage. The lawsuit letters, as I went over, the step-by-step process is also included, and just how to have a system to where clients you aren't searching for, you get them from this business to that business, and you just transferring them around those. So now it's like, man, I can have a one-stop shop for my clients with all services that roll around to each other. And then just the connection, the services to be able to put yourself out there, how to do these things. I want to offer you all of that on top of my ebook, so you won't have to worry. And this is basically, I just give this to you. Once you sign up for the course, here's my ebook. If you want to get started with that and try to use that to your advantage, then here's the first thing from me, a free gift. And of course, we have live weekly Zooms. The course usually is about 3 to 4 weeks, and we have a Zoom every week, but we have everything set up in the course. So all those things are at your access, and modules and videos and steps, information with all the information there, so you can access at your leisure. So, and it's also interactive. So when you intake all the information, you say, I have some questions for Lawrence. That's when we'll come on and we'll give you the weekly Zooms to just be able to ask all your questions and interaction with other members. And of course, asking me anything you like. Also, we have the private Facebook community. Same type of interaction when we're not on calls, when you just have a question or you just want to ask someone or you want to share something. We have the community with interaction of people who are like-minded to where you can interact and network with. And we say our net worth is our net worth. So you do the math. You add all this up. I know you're thinking like, man, that's a lot of money. I don't have that type of investment to invest in myself right now, but I am interested. I don't really want you to worry about that price. This is just showing you the value of services that you could go somewhere else individually and they would maybe charge you these rates. I've seen these many times individually. But I want to not give you the real world value. I want to give you a better value than the real world. I want to give you something else, because the real world, sometimes they go to college and have this information, but still are not able to use it to their benefit. So what I want to do for you is $24.97, a limited time offer. I want to basically cut that in threes. So you can have opportunity to get all these skills to take your life to the next level. And as we learned earlier, this one payment can come back from one client, from one avenue of one revenue stream, and you have many that you can create. So if you understand the power of investing, this type of return right here can just be through the roof, astronomical, but you are in control of what happens next, because your thoughts lead you to the promised land. And if you're thinking what's traditional, we just have to ask ourselves, how many people have reached this promised land? Or when we think outside of the box and we come from a direct angle, then we really start to figure out, hey, that's why when these people figure it out, they usually leave the school alone, because they just needed some direction with something that can be more profitable. We go to school to make money. We got to be honest with ourselves. So the real thing is skills. If you get skills, you can be as successful as you like. So let me help you with skills to be as successful as you like. And of course, we got a 30-day money back guarantee. If you learn from me and in 30 days, you can't use anything, if you've been through everything you took in, all the information, and you don't find anything you can use to your advantage, then money back guarantee. And really, only way I can see you losing is not understanding how to invest in yourself and then just not investing in yourself. So if you're ready to take your finances to the next level, click the link below and either schedule a call if you have more questions, or you can just dive right in and we can start taking it to the next level. And then of course, we'll also send you a free gift as promised. See you soon.